your nose in it. I'm authentic, real name, no gimmicks, no game, no scrimmage. I ain't playing with you niggas.
Everyone, it's the Nation of Podcation Daily Podcast. I'm O'Shea. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. This is the latest from the P. Diddy trial. It's breaking news. Now, as we all know, Sean Puffy P. Diddy, brother Love Combs, going through it right now, sitting in court, hearing about all these allegations. There was the male escort that went up there yesterday and the day before saying all the crazy things that he do, paying, he was paid to do certain things with Cassie, and then the ejaculation was used to rub on P. Diddy, which was weird stuff. It was more of him being paid to do these certain things from Diddy, between $600 and $4,000 or $5,000 for his services, which that's wild to me for him and Cassie to mess around in front of Diddy. He was saying sometimes the freak offs would go 3 and 4 days. All this type of wild stuff going on in the P. Diddy case. Well, there is some light for P. Diddy. Apparently, they have pulled the text messages from Diddy's phone dating all the way back to 2009, and Cassie herself was saying in the text messages where she likes freak offs. She's excited for the freak offs. You know, she's always ready for the freak offs. So this is her own admission, saying that it wasn't him forcing her to do that. It was her joining in, wanting to do this stuff. Crazy stuff. This is one of the craziest court cases in the history of court cases, and I wish that they would have like how they did the OJ trial, you know what I'm saying, where they had the cameras in there so we could actually see this stuff, so it could be live coverage and all of that stuff. But most we're getting is some hand-drawn pictures, and folks that are in there are taking notes and things like that. So I'm going to read you some of this stuff from this Diddy trial that's been going on today. Now, the cross-examination is swinging between the freak-offs at the center of the case and other topics. Cassie is currently reading more sexually explicit messages between her and Combs at this time from 2012. The defense seems to be highlighting now in this conversation. Combs asked about Ventura's desire and preferences. The defense has characterized Combs' sexual preference as part of a swingers lifestyle, in contrast to the government's allegations of sex trafficking and coercion. Combs' lawyer asked Ventura about that swinging lifestyle, and Ventura testified that multiple times she watched Combs have sex with other women, a reverse of the typical arrangement that played out during their relationship. Now, the defense also asked Ventura about her testimony that Combs would sometimes call her incessantly Ana Estevo. The defense lawyer asked if those calls were triggered by fear of infidelity, a main theme of the defense, and she said that was one of the reasons being Cassie. Cassie was asked about her testimony that Sean Combs frequently weighed in on her appearance, including her hair, her clothing, and her body piercings. In direct testimony, Ventura framed that as one of the many ways Combs had control over her life. In questioning, the defense seems to be suggesting that this aesthetic feedback could have stemmed more from Combs' role as a fashion executive, someone with outside cultural influence. The defense asked Cassie about Sean Combs' drug use, which she testified was the central element of the freak-offs. Ventura agreed that Combs was at one point an addict, testifying that he took opiates as she did. She said that multiple times she witnessed him go through opiate withdrawal, which caused him to be more irritable. In the cross-examination of Cassie, Ventura, a lawyer for Sean Combs, has continued to question her and her relationship. In the cross-examination of Cassie, a lawyer from P. Diddy has continued to question her about her relationship with the mogul, drawing on many text messages and other communication between them. Ventura expressed affection and devotion to him, but also complained that she felt she had become simply a sex object to him, not a full romantic partner. The defense also questioned Ventura about the swingers lifestyle that Combs wanted. That included not just sex involving Ventura and another man, but other occasions where he requested that she watch him having sex with another woman. Ventura was asked whether any personal assistants entered the room during the freak-off. She said she could not remember, citing the drugs she took throughout. Now, I'm gonna pause right there. You can't remember it if the assistants was asked to come to the room, but you can remember everything else. I don't like this case right here, right now, because now she can only remember certain things, only the stuff that's helping her case. But now when they're asking her the tough questions, now I just can't remember. I was too doped up and all this stuff. Wow, crazy stuff. She was also questioning about Combs' drug use. She said that while taking them, he was not doing well. That's what happens when you take drugs. They were taking a lunch break amidst her cross-examination. She took the stand nearly 3 hours ago. She had several times seemed weary of answering the defense's many questions about sex and drug use during her relationship with P. Diddy. Now, just after the lunch break, the cross-examination took place. Now, after the lunch break, the cross-examination of Ventura by the defense lawyers and Estevao has varied in pace and tone, from grave to playful, but remained largely cordial and measured. The two even have laughed together at various moments. The questioning has at times also felt stilted and repetitive, with Estevao starting and stopping questions and facing plentiful objections from the prosecution, which the jury seems to be noting. But the defense seems more interested in getting love and sexual exchanges between Ventura and Combs into evidence, as well as underlining parts of Ventura's previous testimony about the good side of Combs. Ventura answers have been mostly brief but agreeable, and she seems to be reserving her pushback for moments of overgeneralization, not to dispute the facts. Now, there is a time in here where they ask Cassie about her relationship and about these text messages from 2009 with P. Diddy, where she says that in 2009 of August, Combs texts her, "When do you want to freak off? LOL." Cassie responds, "I'm always ready to freak off." Then 2 days later, Cassie texts him again. Combs says, "I can't wait to watch. I want you to get real hot." Cassie says, "Me too. I just want it to be uncontrollable." Now, these text messages are used against Cassie. After a series of these explicit messages were shown in the court, the judge granted Cassie's request for a break, allowing her to step down from the witness stand. The jury also was dismissed for a short recess. So that's tough right there, you know what I'm saying? And then the defense points out two additional text messages in which Combs and Ventura seem to agree that they enjoyed the freak-offs when we both wanted, as Ventura wrote in 2017. On the stand, Ventura replied, "I would say that loving FOs were just words at that point." In an older exchange, Combs wrote, "I want a FO freak-off right now," to which Ventura replied, "LOL, me too," adding, "Well, I want to have fun with you." So it wasn't like this was forced from these text messages. It wasn't like it was forced. It wasn't like he was making her do any of this. Clearly from these messages, she was all in too. They still go back to more text messages. The defense, still moving through the pages of old text messages between Ventura and Combs from 2017, has been established how the couple communicated about planning a freak-off. Have fun, impress me," Combs wrote to Ventura before she visited a sex shop for supplies. The defense lawyer noted that Ventura had not said no at any point during any of this exchange. The defense lawyer noted that Ventura had not said no at any point in the exchange. "Correct," Ventura replied. Now, these are other text messages from 2017. Cassie wrote, "I'm too excited," in one exchange when they're talking about the freak-offs between Ventura and Combs. On the stand, she said, "I probably would have been excited to see him and have fun with him," but the defense underlined that she expressed general excitement only in the message itself. In its cross-examination on Thursday of Cassie Ventura, the singer known as Cassie, Sean Combs' defensive team is trying to persuade jurors she willingly participated in the marathon sex sessions with prostitutes he called freak-offs. Among the messages shown, many of the sexually explicit messages. One was to Miss Ventura, the same one from 2009, saying she's always ready to freak off. The defense had acknowledged in its opening statement on Monday that Mr. Combs was responsible for the domestic violence and had an unconventional sex life, but jurors were told then that the evidence would show he was not guilty of the charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Wow, wow, wow. So I told y'all back then, I know Diddy's a crazy dude. I don't agree with none of the hitting on the females, dragging her, doing all of that stuff. That's wild stuff. And that was my daughter. I would snuff P. Diddy like it was nothing. And like, especially seeing that video come out. Bro, I'm on your top, bro. If anybody does that to any one of my daughters, you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, if she's sending these text messages back and forth, sending these emails back and forth, saying she was down, she's buying the sex toys, she's all in on it, she's doing it all. At no point was she being forced to do it. then these charges need to be dropped on Diddy. Like I said, the stuff that he did to her in the elevator, what she was trying to get on the elevator to leave him, that was wild work right there. And like I said, he needs to be beat up for that. He did some time. He did all of that stuff. I think he's probably paid his debt to society, except getting his ass whooped, because that's what he needs, you know, from a real man. Somebody needs to drop him one time for doing that. But at the same time, as far as what he's being charged with, I don't think. I think that she was in on it too. They were a freaky couple. Like the defense says, they were swingers. He was watching her. She was watching him. They was in it together. They was watching other folks. It was just one big party. She was in agreement on it. Wild stuff going on with this Diddy trial. I'm really interested to see how it finishes playing off. This is one of the most high-profile cases. This is one of the most high-profile cases in, you know, hip-hop history. Seeing one of the biggest moguls in hip-hop have to go through all of this stuff. And we all know that he was having those crazy parties. Everybody knew that he was having those crazy parties. And she even took some money, saying that she was aware of the crazy parties and signed off saying she's going to take the $20 million. So she was shut up about it. She's still on here talking about it, doing some, it's crazy work. Even though the messages show that she was all in for it. She was all in game for it. She was down to participate. She's buying stuff for it. Crazy work. Nation, what do you think about P. Diddy's trial? What do you think about this day 4? What do you think about this day 4 of Cassie versus P. Diddy? What do you think about, do you think P. Diddy's looking better now? You think he's looking worse now? How you feel about Cassie now, knowing that she said that she was down to do all of this stuff in multiple text messages over multiple years? It wasn't like she was forced to do none of this. There's no messages nowhere whatsoever saying that she was not interested in doing none of that stuff. She said she was always ready for the freak off. I wonder how this is making her husband feel as well. Nation, let me know in the comment section how you feel about it down below, and make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Peace.
Knows in it. I'm authentic, real name, no gimmicks, no game, no scrimmage. I ain't playing with you niggas at all.